and welcome to this video about yoga props. So during this video I'm going to talk you through the different types of yoga props that you can use throughout different classes. Now usually when I teach a class I'll let you know at the start of the class whether you may want to use a prop during that class. And I know that in some cases not everyone has the particular yoga prop. So I'm going to go for a couple of household things that you can use instead of the prop that's mentioned at the start of class. And this will be applicable for not just the classes that I teach, but any yoga class that you attend online. So we'll start with one of the most commonly used props, and that is a yoga brick. So usually a house style brick kind of shape. And we also have a yoga block, which is a slightly skinnier version of a yoga brick. So these are often used throughout different yoga practices and can be used for multiple things. Now if you don't have a brick or a block, what makes a really great substitute in most cases is a book or a couple of books. And what's great with using books is you can easily use as many books as you like to adjust the height, which is a real benefit to use in a book. So next we have a yoga strap, also sometimes called a yoga belt. And instead of a yoga strap or yoga belt, you can literally use a belt that you would use on your trousers or pants, depending on what country you're from. And what also is really good if you don't wear or use belts is just to take a wrapped up towel, like a rolled up towel like this, and that also works really well as a yoga strap. So that's another option. Now a few other things that you might like to have during a yoga class, usually a towel or a blanket like the one I have here. It's great for padding for the wrists, padding for the knees. Also, it's great if you're doing a restorative class or a yin class. You might like it for the end. Actually, you might like it for the end of any yoga class if they are including quite a long relaxation or savasana pose. So it's always handy to have a towel or a blanket to hand. A few other things that you might come across in a yoga class is a bolster like the one I have here. And you can get different types of bolsters, different shapes. I particularly like this one, but you can get flatter ones and bigger ones as well. Now if you don't have a bolster, and most people wouldn't have a bolster lying around, what is a great alternative is just a cushion or pillow off your bed. It's a very similar shape as you can probably see here, and in most cases you can just squish it down, maybe use one or two, and it's practically the same thing. The very last prop that I was going to mention, an eye pillow. So if you are doing a relaxation or a yoga nidra or restorative class, at the end of the class you may like to have an eye pillow. Now I made this one, they're quite easy to make. Otherwise what works also very well is just to use a blanket and just to lay it across your eyes, or even a towel or anything like that. So now I've covered most of the really common yoga props that you may come across during a yoga class, depending on what type of yoga class you're doing. And the final yoga prop that I haven't covered is a yoga mat. Now that's the one prop that I definitely suggest if you're practicing a lot of yoga, it's worth investing into. Yoga mats, they provide quite a bit of grip for the hands and for the feet, and a little bit of support if you're on a hard surface like me. So I definitely recommend them. Some teachers also will cue certain yoga poses with the mat in mind. So they might say things like bring your feet to the edge of the mat. So it's also quite useful to have a mat for that reason. Just it gives you some awareness of where your body parts are going as you're moving in and out of poses. If you don't have a yoga mat though, you can always use a towel. It might slip around a bit more, but they are similar shapes. So that is also an alternative that you could use. Otherwise, I mean, you don't necessarily need a yoga mat. It's just one of those nice extra things to have if you are going to invest into any of the yoga props that are out there. So that is the end of this video on yoga props, and I hope you found it useful, and I hope that you'll be able to find yourself a yoga prop in the next yoga class that you go to.